Travis Scott, for the longest time, was one of those musicians who I simply chose not to indulge in. I have various artists who I do my best to ignore because I fear that I'd have a contrary opinion to everyone else. It could be because I fear I will dislike them, or I fear that I will enjoy them. Either way, I try to aggressively avoid Travis Scott alongside a litany of other artists, just so I don't end up having a different opinion than the masses. Sure, I heard his radio hits, Fiend, Sicko Mode, Goosebumps, all great songs. However, one day I got the urge to listen to Travis Scott's entire discography in one day. So I did. Then, on the same day, I wrote a script for a video on this new channel I was working on, WGG. But alas, this video isn't about my origin story. It's about how Travis Scott has been on a downward spiral. A young Travis Scott with a $sign released a series of mixtapes across the early to mid-2010s. Throughout this time, he was producing for Kanye West. Things were already looking up for Scott, who had been disowned by his parents just a few years prior. Following the release of Kanye's 2013 album, Travis started work on his own album, Rodeo. Scott had released a mixtape, Al Pharaoh, a month prior to the release of Yeezus. The next year, Scott released Days Before Rodeo. The project had the signature Travis Scott psychedelic production. It also had production from Metro Boomin, Mike Dean, Wonder Girl, OZ, and a lot more huge producers from the time. I personally believe that the mixtape is great and is essential if you're a Travis Scott fan. It shows that Scott had found his own unique sound. This is something that is essential for any artist to find, and seeing Travis find it so early is great. Later, Travis Scott, now without a $sign, would release his debut album, Rodeo. The album did what Days Before Rodeo did, but better in every way. Rodeo feels like a lightning in a bottle album. The song structures feel improvised in a way, with beat switches, bridges, build-ups, resolutions, and melodic outros. It all has a good ratio of hard-hitting trap bangers like Antidote compared to the more emotional and melodic songs like 90210. I feel like Rodeo had a certain level of sophistication to it. The songs touch on very personal and real topics in Travis's life. That's what makes Rodeo great to me. In 2017, Travis Scott released Astroworld.
What about Birds?
Alright, name 5 songs off of Birds right now.
Well, there's Goosebumps and,
In 2017, Travis Scott released Astroworld. This album is a very typical trap album. There's a few emotional songs, but most of them are just meant to be radio hits. I feel like the album is just a compilation of singles. Astroworld is an album that struggles from overambition. It uses its time way less wisely than Rodeo. An album that is a quarter hour longer. I don't know about you, but hearing Nav droning on in Yosemite gets real tiring real quickly. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the album. I like Can't Say and Astro Thunder. It's mostly the fact that the album's rollout overhyped the thing so much just to be lacking any real substance. The following album is even worse than this, however. In 2023, Travis Scott released Utopia. This album went all in on the hard-hitting trap sounds, so Scott could reach a younger audience. I personally don't like this switch at all. There's only one emotional track on the entire project, and it's actually one of my favorites. Over as far as emotional tracks go, that's it. Well, there are some fun songs like Fiend, I Know, God's Country, and Sirens. They don't really say anything in them. It feels like such a nothing burger album. While there are tons of albums that I love that have fairly stereotypical lyrics, they at least present those generic lyrics topics in a fun and unique way. Utopia just doesn't really have anything to it besides it being a fun trap album to turn your brain off to, which sure is my expectation for any normal artist. Travis Scott can definitely make an album way better than this because he has multiple times. Then it hit me. Rodeo is an art house album. The album uses an eclectic range of different styles and structures across its hour-long runtime that would most likely alienate general audiences. However, those interested in the art of the craft stuck around. Then Travis started appealing to a different demographic, the general audience, which is why you hear Sicko Mode and Fiend all over the place, even to this day, but you hear barely any songs from Rodeo be brought up ever. So while Travis Scott is doing just fine commercially, I feel like something was lost in Utopia, the album's humanity. It jumps right into spectacle without a character building moment, without a reason to care. Something that his past albums did way better, and this one just lacks that.